G'day and welcome to the next video on solving quadratic trinomials using completing the square. You need to go and probably watch the first video of solving using completing the square before you watch this one, because this one gets a little bit trickier. So I'm just going to go and try and solve these. I've tried using the cross method and splitting the middle term doesn't work, so I'm just going to use the completing the square method on this one. So I get half of this term in here, and so I get x squared minus 6x plus negative 6 on 2 squared minus negative 6 on 2 squared plus 3 equals 0. Now you might do things a little bit differently, but as long as you end up with this x squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 9 plus 3 is equal to 0, and then you end up getting x minus 3 all squared, which is that number is the same as that number there, but and then minus 6 is equal to 0, I'm happy. So if you can get from there to there, I'm all good. Okay, minus 9 plus 3 is obviously negative 6. Okay, at this point we need to I guess continue on and use the difference of two squares, so we get x minus 3 plus root 6, x minus 3 minus root 6. That all equals 0, and we end up getting x minus 3 plus root 6 is equal to 0, and x minus 3 minus root 6 is equal to 0. So I get x equals positive 3 minus root 6, and x equals positive 3 plus root 6. Okay, and obviously that's one way to write the answer. Another way to write the answer would be x equals 3 plus minus root 6, like that. Okay, hopefully that makes a little bit of sense for you. The next one I'm going to do is a fair bit trickier. It's actually it's to do dealing with a fraction, so it's going to get more complicated. I'm not sure if you'll see too many of these ones, but I just like to show you it anyway, in case one crops up in the textbook or in a test or something. So what we can do here at this point is we can get half of this term here, and that's why this process over here is so important, because people will get stuck at this point. They'll go, 3 divided by 2. They might say that it's even 1.5, and that's true, but it's not very helpful. I would prefer you to leave it like this: x squared plus 3x plus 3 over 2 squared minus 3 over 2 squared minus 1 equals 0. Ooh, that is a 0. Then at this point, I'm going to jump down into this. I'm going to say that becomes x plus 3 on 2 squared, because those, this number here is always this number here, as I can show you all the way through. And then that's minus 9 over 4. The reason it's 9 over 4 is because I square both terms. I square 3 and I square 2. It becomes 9 over 4. If you made it 1.5, you'd have to do the square of 1.5, which is not impossible, but usually I like to work with fractions more than I do with decimals when I'm trying to square things. And that minus 1 equals 0, obviously. So then I've got x plus 3 over 2 squared. And now I'm going to make this a number, I'm going to turn this into a fraction, and I'm going to make it 4 over 4. Okay, because that bottom number is 4. I want to make the denominator of this one 4. So it's going to be minus 9 on 4 minus 4 on 4, which ends up being minus 13 on 4 is equal to 0. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to do. That's not what I really want to teach you today. I'm trying to teach you how to complete the square. So if you're having trouble with that, just let me know and I can help out. So this ends up being x plus 3 on 2 plus root 13 over 4, x plus 3 over 2 minus root 13 over 4 is equal to 0. There's a couple of things that we can do at this point. One, we can turn this 4 into a 2, because I can say that this ends up being x plus 3 over 2 plus root 13 over root 4, which is the same as just 2. So I'll rub that out. So that's just over 2, and this becomes x plus 3 over 2 minus root 13 over 2. It's like we applied the square root to the bottom, but not to the top, because the top's still there. Okay, we continue on and we get, now we can use our null factor law. My screen's going psycho on me. here we go. So I can go x plus 3 over 2 plus root 13 over 2 is equal to 0, and x plus 3 over 2 minus root 13 over 2 is equal to 0. Okay, and so now from here I'm going to say that x equals negative 3 over 2 minus root 13. Oh, that's an interesting 3. 13 over 2, it's not much better, is it? 13 over 2, and x equals negative 3 on 2 plus root 13 over 2. And that is absolutely an acceptable way to write this. Another way that people might like to write it is x equals negative 3 over 2 plus minus root 13 over 2. That's another acceptable way. And the last acceptable way, I've gone away. The last acceptable way, and don't get too hung up over this, but because these two are both, the denominators are both 2, I can actually make it like this. Negative 3 plus minus root 13 all over 2. Okay, I need to have that plus minus there, but that's another way that I can write this answer. But I'm happy if you can get to the first one or the second one. It doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so that's the end of completing the square to solve quadratic trinomials. Hopefully this has helped a little bit. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Yeah, the next video will be on the quadratic formula. So thanks very much.